So a few weeks ago, I started a series about the Ten Commandments. It's been in my mind. One of my best friends recently quit her job as a teacher because they made her hang it on her wall. She said no. They came and did it anyway and just informed her it was done, and she let go of that. She stood by her convictions. We are not about imposing our beliefs on anyone else, ever. And yet, in all religions, there is a central mystical experience that somebody started with sometime, that then later somebody else went, I want some of that, and made rules about it. And then it became about the rules and not about the spirit behind it. So what I'm hoping to do with the Ten Commandments is to spend some time talking about the spirit behind it. And last time we did Commandments 1, 2, and 3. And today, the fourth commandment is this: remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. So what is Sabbath? Well, Shabbat, it comes from the word Shavat, which means to cease. It just means stop. Stop. And to keep it holy, one definition of holy is set apart for a specific purpose. So stop for a while and give yourself some time set apart from your normal purpose, something a little different. And it comes from this reading in Genesis. Thus the heavens and the earth were completed in all their vast array. By the seventh day, this is mythical, y'all, not literal, God had finished the work he had been doing, so on the seventh day he rested from all his work. Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it he rested from all the work of creating that he had done. So the purpose of Sabbath is simply to rest. We forget to do that. I don't know if you do. I forget to do that. And especially in our society today, we have these little computers we carry around with us so that we are available 24/7 to anybody who wants a piece of us. And you've probably noticed it in yourself. You call somebody, they don't answer. What? Or you text them and they don't text you back. What? How dare you? I'm old enough to remember a time that you'd call somebody, the phone would ring like 10 times, and you'd go, they must not be home. You'd call them later. Yeah. First time I called and there was an answering machine, I went, not used to being recorded. Now we've suddenly, because we have the ability to reach out to each other at any time, it has become necessary to be available all the time. That's probably not what the technology was created for, but that's what it's become. You know, back in the day, Monday used to be laundry day. And you didn't have to, it was harder to do the laundry, but that was all you had to do on Monday. That was your day to do laundry. Do you get a laundry day now? No, you do not. You fit it in between everything else you're doing, because we made this efficient machine so that you wouldn't have to work so hard. And somehow we end up working harder. This shows up in so many ways in our lives, that the things that have been created to make things more convenient to us just raise the bar. So we're constantly doing more and more and more, and we forget. And that's why I love this. The first part of this, it's two parts. Remember the Sabbath. Very, very important word, because we forget. How do we forget? We forget, and why do we forget? There's a fear of rest. What if the world goes on without me? FOMO. We have a fear of missing out on something. We have an addiction to the work that we're doing sometimes, an addiction to accomplishment. Why? Because we've begun to identify with what we do instead of with who we are. Yeah. What else? What are the other reasons that we do? We have become, in some ways, we've lost our connection. We've lost our connection to balance, to the natural balance of the universe. Everything that lives besides human beings naturally work and rest, work and rest, work and rest. We're the only ones that don't. There are dormant seasons. Plants grow and they fall away and they go fallow for a while. Or the ones that don't die just simply chill out until their next growing season, right? Animals work and then they rest. But we feel like sometimes we have to work all the time. So this idea of Sabbath is meant to balance labor and rest, meant to balance solemnity and levity, meant to balance work and play. When's the last time you played? Anybody here not so good at playing? Yeah. Meant to, and then what happened is that, especially in the Jewish religion, it got real legalistic. You're supposed to rest on this day, so stop what you're doing. Don't scratch your nose, because that would be labor, right? You can't see, but don't flip on the white light switch, so that would be labor. That is what fundamentalism does, of any kind. It's not just Christians who are fundamentalists. There are fundamentalism of all kinds all over the world, and it becomes legalistic. It becomes about the rules rather than about the spirit. What is restful to you? And most of you know by now that my husband had a series of strokes a couple of weeks ago. He's in the hospital right now, and my daughter is there with him today, so I could be here. And there are those who said, "Why are you here? You don't have to work." No, I don't have to work. Sabbath changes for me. Today, Sabbath is resting my mind from that intensity and being here and letting myself love and be loved by all of you. That is Sabbath to me. So thank you. Yeah. So we forget. Sabbath is more about the quality of what we're doing than it is about what we're doing, right? We can make anything into work. Have you noticed that? Yeah. Have you noticed that you might be able to make almost anything into play if you decide to? Try that sometime. It's about leaving your worries, your anxieties, your stress behind for just a moment. For a day is what's suggested in the rules, in the commandments. But I suggest to you that if you can take a day every week, I hope you do. I really hope you do. I think that's a good balance. I think that 7-to-1 balance is not accidental. And yet, sometimes we can't take a day. Can we take an hour? Can we take a half hour? Can we take a breath? You know? Can we take 3 breaths in a row? That's what's been saving me. I've been living and sleeping 24/7 in a hospital for the last 2 weeks. And how am I doing that and not falling apart? I am taking my moments of Sabbath. I'm taking a moment to breathe. I'm taking a moment to make a phone call to someone I love who loves me. I am taking a moment to read a book, perhaps. I don't get to take a day right now, but I will take my moments. And I suggest that you do the same. It will make a huge difference. So, not only does not resting sap your energy and make you less efficient when efficiency is what you're wanting, right? It also, since we are all one, this is not theoretical to me. We don't believe that this is theory that we are all one. We believe that we are literally one organism, one life. And so every single part of that life affects the whole. When you rest, you bring rest to the whole. When you take a moment of peace, you add peace to the collective. That's a beautiful thing for you to be able to do. The converse is also true. When you get agitated, you add some agitation to all of us. I don't say that to make you feel guilty, but to be aware, to remember the Sabbath. Just whatever it takes to remember. To unplug from forgetting. Unplug from forgetting. You might unplug from technology. You might unplug from TV. You might unplug from books. You might do something different from what you ordinarily do, and that will help you to remember. The second part of the commandment, the challenge, the life lesson, is to keep it holy. And holy simply means a state of complete, unbroken, and healthy being. Holy, same as whole, W-H-O-L-E. Spiritually, emotionally, and physically mirroring the perfection of God, which is the truth of who you are. We are not children of the living God. We are the living God in expression. Children is just a way of expressing that. And so as we do that, we are allowing the truth of us to come to the surface and have its play. Now, what happened with those commandments is that talked about sort of the Jewish fundamentalism that happened, and then the Christians took over and said, well, the Sabbath is not the seventh day. The Sabbath is now the first day of the week, and you better go to church, and you better not do anything fun. When I was growing up, we went to church Sunday morning, Sunday night, and Wednesday night. Sunday morning, Sunday night, and you didn't do anything fun in between, right? So this idea that you have to be here, that Sabbath is not for you to come to church. That's totally up to you. Because Sabbath is not about where you are. Sabbath is consecrating a time. And if this is where you choose to be while you consecrate a time to be with your own spirit, to allow yourself to get to know yourself deeply, which is the same as getting to know God deeply, because God resides within you. The way to know God better is to go deep inside and know you better. So you're already whole. You're already whole. So remember the Sabbath to remember your own wholeness, because we walk around thinking that we're broken and that we have to fix something. And we use a lot of energy trying to fix things that aren't broken. The other reason that we forget is really greed. We have bought into the idea that more is better, that doing more is better, that having more is better, that somehow being more is better. Well, you can't be more than you are, because you're already perfect love in expression. You can't be more than that. You can reveal more of that by relaxing your ego and by remembering that that's the truth of who you are. So being content with what you have. The Tao says, be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize nothing is lacking, then the whole world belongs to you. When you realize nothing is lacking, then the whole world already belongs to you, because the whole world already belongs to you and you've forgotten. Sabbath is a time to remember, to look around and go, all of the ways that I am blessed. I will tell you, this journey the past couple of weeks, and really the past couple of years before that with my husband's disease, has obviously brought a lot of pain and a lot of sadness and a lot of anxiety, a lot of things. But the other thing that it's brought is sort of a real sensitivity to true kindness. And I notice it all around me. I notice it every time. Maybe not every time. I try to notice it every time. But I am more and more and more aware of how loved we are. I am more and more and more aware of how blessed we are. I am more and more and more aware of everyone who shares the tiniest kindness with us. That I pass somebody in the hospital and they smile, and I know that they have their pain or they wouldn't be there. I have my pain or I wouldn't be there, and yet we've taken a moment for human connection. To me, that's Sabbath. That is looking around and saying, what do I have? Once we see what we have, then we know it's enough. And when we know we have enough, then we don't have to work so hard to try to get more, than what we have. So, Sabbath is really about coming into the now, coming into right this minute. It's already holy. It's already whole. You don't have to make it that way. but you bring your presence into it. I allow the presence of what already is to infiltrate me, to relax enough to not let it roll off me the way we so often do. Oh yeah, whatever, that. But to actually let it penetrate, to let it get inside me and have its effect on me. Always holy. So how do you do it? How do you develop a habit of Sabbath? Because we're in the habit of not resting. So how do we develop a habit of resting? Well, I have some suggestions. Sometimes it's as little as light a candle. Just remind yourself, does anything change because a candle is lit? Not necessarily, other than that you are taking a moment to go, I'm dedicating this time as something special. Light some incense, light a candle. Have a place in your house that is a place that if I go to this corner, I am resting. I will never do any work in this corner. I have a place like that in my house. This is the chair. These are the things around that chair that remind me of who I am, and I will never take my computer to that chair. I will use it in other places in the house. It reminds me, and when I forget, I have a lovely daughter who sometimes says, "Why don't you go sit in your chair in the front room?" Thank you, Erin. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. She's real good about stuff like that. Pour libations. That's an ancient, from the Yoruba and African traditions, is to pour out water. And just as an act of seeing the flow as spirit flows. I don't pour water as pouring libations, but I tell you what, every morning as I pour my cup of coffee, I am mindful. Look at this blessing that I'm pouring out for myself. May I bless the whole world as I take it into myself. That simple. Make up your own. You don't have to do something that I'm telling you to do, but I'm just encouraging you. Ring a bell, Ring a bell. Give yourself something auditory that says, oh, now's the time to relax. Say a prayer. Sing a song. Sing a lot of songs. Sing is a beautiful way of consecrating time. But mostly ask yourself, what nourishes your soul? I'm sharing with you some of the things that nourish my soul. What nourishes your soul? Whatever that is, only you know, and then you get to do it. My friend Michael Gott says every once in a while, because he and I talk about this, neither of us is very good at taking a Sabbath on a weekly basis. But boy, do we notice it when we haven't. And he does what he calls a reset day. That's a Sabbath, where it's like nothing goes on this calendar. Nothing. This is sacrosanct. That is the day that I will just be rather than do anything. And it's not the day you catch up on errands. It's not the day that you do different work from the work that you usually do. It's the day where you truly give yourself a chance to reset. So take a reset day. This is a huge thing in my life when I finally learned to stop rather than finish. I thought I had to finish in order to stop. And you know what? There's never an end. It's never finished. And so I would put it off and I'll rest as soon as this is done. I'll rest as soon as this is done. As soon as this is done, there's something else calling for attention. So I've learned to say, you know what? I'm tired. It's time for me to stop. I can put it aside. I can pick it up later. There are very few deadlines in the world that actually include death. Right? They're made up times. You can make up a different one. Well, I thought I was going to get this done by Tuesday afternoon, but it looks like it's going to be Wednesday morning before I get to it. Or next Tuesday, whatever. Look up and look around. Nature has beauty for you. And not only just nature, but look around. Look at the light. Look at these beautiful cranes that were hand-folded by many, many people with prayers of peace tucked into them as they were made. Look at the beautiful wood in this building. Look at the faces around you. The faces of God, literally the faces of God. Look up and look around. I will lift up my eyes unto the hills. From whence comes my help? My help cometh from the Lord, says the psalm. That is the same as what the Buddhists call taking refuge in the Buddha, right? Taking refuge in that principle of oneness and love. Not a person, the Buddha, not a person of God or Jesus, but that principle of oneness, that principle of love. Taking refuge in that by simply looking up and looking around and realizing how blessed we are. Nature, grounding. Take your shoes off and put your feet on the ground. When's the last time you did that? Put your feet in the grass. Very helpful. The earth has vibrations. We are a part of the earth. We are animals, and we have divorced ourselves from our animal nature. Let your animal nature run free for a little bit. Go barefoot in the park. Take a moment to let go, to just simply, letting go is hard. That feels like work. How about let be? Just let it be. The Beatles were pretty convinced it was a good thing to do. And the whole country, the whole world seemed to agree with them. We all know it's a good idea. We just don't do it very often. Let it be. Let it, what it is what it is, and we let it be. And then we can ask, do I have a part? Is there something I'm supposed to do? And if we get a message that, yes, there's something for me to do, then we do that. But all of the worrying about, I don't want it to be this way, I wish it weren't this way, why can't other people fix it so that I don't have to feel this way, does nothing but create agitation and take us away from our wholeness. That's when we split apart. Take a moment to celebrate your relationships. Truly look at the people that you see every day. Take a moment to truly, truly appreciate who they are to you. And I'm talking about your spouse, your friend, your neighbor, the guy you pass in the street. It doesn't matter. Celebrate your relationships. Connect with people. That is called in Buddhism taking refuge in the Sangha, taking refuge in the community. And this is got an amazing community here. Take your refuge in it. Make a special meal. Have a conversation. Play a game. Laugh with each other. That is, to me, a beautiful and perfect Sabbath. In the Jewish religion, making love on the Sabbath is a mitzvah. It's a good deed. Do your good deed for this week. I encourage you. Pray, meditate, read for enjoyment, not for edification. I should read this. No, I think I'm going to read this. Practice an analog hobby, something that doesn't require being connected to a screen, maybe, perhaps. Any kind, singing, walking, reading poetry, meditating, spending some time in prayer, spending some time with yourself. These are the same as in Buddhism, taking refuge in the Dharma, taking refuge in the path itself, in the way of love. Create, make art. And here's a suggestion. I don't do this, but if I had a family that was living at home, I would so adopt this. I know someone who makes a Sabbath box. It's just a box. It's on the table. It's Sabbath. We're having Sabbath time, whatever we designate that to be. Put your phone in there. Put the lid on it. We're having a Sabbath. We are being available to each other, which doesn't mean we need to be available to everybody else in the world. There will be a time to pick up that phone again. Yeah. Put your powerless list in that Sabbath box. I'm powerless over all these things. Put your to-do list in that Sabbath box. I still have all this to do, but I'm not doing it right now because I'm taking a Sabbath. I'm taking a rest. Put it in and don't take it out until you're done. You can have a season of Sabbath. You can have a day. You can have a breath. You can have a beat. You can pet the dog or the cat. You can watch some children at play. Whatever reminds you of who you are. You are the sacred ground. You don't have to go anywhere. I love you to come here, but you are the sacred ground. You take it with you wherever you go. So remember that. Time with you is Holy Sabbath. I'm going to leave you with one more because I'm being biblical lately. I don't know. Jesus said these really, really beautiful words. He said, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." To me, that doesn't mean come to Jesus. It means come to the truth of who you are. And when you really realize who you are, you'll get that, oh, what is all of the angst for? And I will give you rest, for I am meek and lowly of heart, and you shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy, my burden is light. Now that's not what the fundamentalists will tell you. They will tell you that's a really heavy burden and a tight yoke, but that is not what he said. The yoke is easy, the burden is light. If it's not light, put it down, at least for a while. And when you pick it up again, it will be lighter. Thank you. Instead of going into our meditation, we are going to have a ceremony to welcome our new associate minister, Rick Horsey. So, I'll tell you what to do. At Unity of Farmers Branch, we value these principles. There is one divine presence that goes by many names. It is the very energy and essence of love. We are one in that spirit and with each other, and we are here to learn to remember the love that we are. We consciously connect to that spirit through what we call prayer or meditation. As we align with divine wisdom and love, our inner world changes. That's all we really have control over. And yet, when our inner world changes, it is reflected beautifully in the outer world we will find. To heal ourselves is to heal the world. To heal yourself is to help heal the world. Because we are one, when we as individuals find an enlightened, loving way to live, we evolve the consciousness of the whole planet. That is your privilege and your responsibility, and my privilege and my responsibility. And so our role as a community is to aid in that evolution by providing wisdom teachings, encouragement, spiritual nourishment, and a loving and safe place to support each person's growth on his or her own soul path. We're not here to tell you what your path is. We're here to hold you and connect with you and support you while you find what it is and love you through it. The primary role of our leaders is to simply hold space for our individual and collective growth. So today we welcome an addition to our community's support and leadership, one who by his willingness will add to the already vibrant life of this community. So, Rick, come on. I'm going to make you stand for a while I read this. Come on. Rick is an ordained minister, having completed the necessary prerequisites and required course at the Unity Urban Ministry School, and has accepted the call to unconditional love and service through ministry. He said yes to the call. As associate minister for Unity of Farmers Branch, he will support the senior minister in whatever ways she shall deem appropriate. He will pray with and for this spiritual community and will conduct himself with integrity and loyalty. He is empowered to represent Unity of Farmers Branch at events in the local community and in the larger Unity community and in the world. He will be a non-voting member of the Board of Trustees, consulting and advising from his wisdom and areas of expertise. He will continue to lead the Men of Unity ministry and will assist in pastoral care, pastoral counseling, facilities management, and other duties as per the wishes of the senior minister and the needs of the congregation. He is your associate minister. So I now present to the Board of Trustees and to the congregation Reverend James Frederick Horsey, who we call Rick. So, will you face me? Just turn and face me. You don't have to come closer. Turn and face me. Okay? Do you accept the principles that have been read here today and promise to adhere to them and to make them the basis of your service?
I do.
Do you consecrate yourself to this ministry that you will do your utmost at all times to reflect the Christ within in all that you think, say, and do?
I will.
Do you so dedicate yourself that you will be constantly aware of the Spirit within all people and that you will seek to see them as perfect expressions of the divine in human form?
I will, for sure.
Do you promise to minister faithfully and lovingly to the people of this community and to seek ever to be an example of moderation, patience, and loving kindness to the best of your ability?
I will.
All right. May the infinite Spirit who empowers you to do all these things grace you with the strength faithfully to perform the same and to live the vision of unity of Farmers Branch. Yeah. I'm going to ask the board members who are present to please stand. These are your Board of Trustees. The role of the board is this: it oversees the business affairs of the community, but their individual and collective awareness establishes a consciousness for the entire congregation. Recognizing the authority with which they are entrusted, we now charge them with this responsibility. Do you promise Bronwyn Brock, Len Ellis, Chris Herson, Ann Rapp, George Small, and Jay Wells to follow the light of truth? Do you accept Reverend Rick Horsey as associate minister of this church? Thank you. You may be seated. And will our prayer partners who are present today please stand? Prayer partners, do you promise to give of your support, your love, and your affirmative prayers to this minister and this ministry? You may be seated. All right. Now, everybody who is a member of Unity of Farmers Branch, please stand. You are the voice of this church, or you soon will be. You are the ambassadors of the teachings of love in this community. You are the backbone as the volunteers giving of your service. Do you promise to uphold the vision and mission of Unity of Farmers Branch, moment by moment, to the best of your ability? I knew you would. And do you accept Rick Horsey as the associate minister of this church? Yes. Thank you. You may be seated. Reverend Rick, as this community has spoken its support of you as its associate minister for Unity of Farmers Branch, in the presence of God and the company of witnesses, it is by virtue of my sacred stewardship as an ordained minister and senior minister of Unity Farmers Branch, and by the authority vested in me by the Spirit and by this congregation, I do install you here and now as the associate minister of Unity of Farmers Branch with all the rights, privileges, and obligations appertaining to your office. Peace be with you, as the God of peace dwells richly in your heart through love and makes your labor fruitful unto eternal life. Thank you, Rick. And so it is. Amen. Amen. All right.